welcome once again to Crazy Comics and Stories. It's me, your charming and delightful old Uncle Rat Bastard. And because Joe is taking a leave of absence, I still haven't got his paperwork for it.
No, I'm right here. I'm good.
We have connected through the series of tubes and wires we all call the internets is dangerous Dan Mohr. How you doing today, Dan?
I'm doing well, and because Joe's not here, I feel I have to do this. However, so how many apples are grown on trees?
I don't know.
All of them. Did I do right? Was that a Joe joke?
Is Reginald around?
I've tried to keep him out, so hopefully he's gone.
Okay, good. But you're here for two reasons.
Yes.
Actually, three reasons. One, because Joe's not available.
That is true.
He's getting a bionic hip.
Ooh, hey, did I hear someone ask my name? I'm right here. Fuck. Wait, what did you want, Cory? I'm here. What can I do for you?
You're on deck in case Dan tells another one of his dad jokes.
Oh, excellent. I'll make sure that I put that piece of paper that I was holding for him over here with all those dad jokes. Yes.
Okay, good.
Good. All right.
So go wait in the on-deck circle.
Will do. What's an on-deck circle?
Go to Wikipedia. They will explain it.
Well, that's going to be one hell of a plane ride, but okay.
All right.
You were saying?
Yeah, the second reason you're here.
Yes.
Next Saturday, you've got stuff going on.
Yes, I do.
It's kind of a big deal. It's a return engagement, a return from the dead.
Yes.
Dan,
more of a coma, but yes.
What is the Holiday Geek Souffle? No, not that. What's it called?
The Holiday Geek Expo. That's right. The Holiday Geek Expo is one of those.
I like my name better.
Actually, I do kind of like the souffle, but the thing is, I don't like the idea of it falling if it gets too noisy. The Holiday Geek Expo. That's the time where you can come and find all of those convention vendors that you like to get gifts from for your loved ones, for your non-loved ones, just to spend money. I don't care. But without that pesky convention around it. Yes.
So it's like all the huckster tables, none of the cosplay.
Right. You can cosplay if you want. I don't care, though. But the thing is, there's no contests or anything like that. If that'll get you out there, if it's an excuse to wear your costume and that's what you need, come on out in costume. I don't care. I don't care what you wear.
Wear something, though. Because it'll be cold.
It is cold. I don't care if you wear something. The police might care if you wear something. And the venue might care. But you know what? I'm not in charge of you. But yes, December 1st and 2nd, we will be holding the Holiday Geek Expo once again. We did this last year due to a venue problem where we kind of lost our venue last minute and couldn't find a new place fast enough. But this year we are back. We are at the Hallie Q. Brown Center in St. Paul. It is 10 to 6 on Saturday the 1st and 10 to 5 on December 2nd, the Sunday. But we will have jewelers, we will have stuffed animal makers, we will have artists, we will have people who are reselling, toys and geek stuff like that. It's going to be great. Everyone should come out and buy stuff because that's what you do at these things. It's free to get in. If you want, I was about to say something that probably will not be true when this actually airs, so I'm not going to say that.
Lie to the people.
Yes. I was about to say, hey, we still have vendor tables available. However, the week before, we probably don't.
Now, where is the Hallie Q Center?
See, if you had warned me beforehand, I would have gotten that address. It is in St. Paul. It is just off of Dale, I think. Hold on a minute. I will bring that up. Oh, there are all my dad jokes. Hold on.
Kind of burn that file, please.
So let's see. It is at 270 North Kent Street in St. Paul. So that is the address, 270 North Kent Street in St. Paul. And like I said, it's near the Dale, Lexington area. So, but that's where you should go to get all of your geek shopping out of the way.
Now, I know when I went, you had some writers and artists there. Other than you,
Yeah.
what artists and writers will be there?
See,
you don't know yet, do you?
No, we're recording right before we get that finalized. We actually sent out all the confirmation letters, and now we're just waiting to see who actually still wants to go and wants to pay. So I don't have that list right now. However, if you go to the holidaygeekexpo.com, you will be able to see the list as it grows. So a week beforehand, it should be all there. You'll see the vendors that'll be there. You will see the authors that will be there. You will see any of the artists that'll be there. So go to holidaygeekexpo.com, and you can find out who's going to be there. Probably when I do. So
now, one thing that's I have been to the Halley Q Center a few times because I take part in the Geek Toy Drive.
Yes, and we will be taking donations that weekend for that.
And that's also where they do the where they gather up all the toys, and then I think it's Toys for Tots or somebody like that. The weekend before Christmas has families come in to choose toys, and I've been involved in that too. And if you've got something like that in your area, please volunteer for that, because there is nothing cooler than helping people pick out toys for their kids when they thought they wouldn't get a Christmas. I was just there to drop off, and they asked if I would stay for a while and help some of the people, and I ended up staying a little too late and was late for work that day, but it was just so nice and very festive in a way to, people would come in, I have a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old. What might they be interested in that you guys have? So, and at the Geek Expo, you can drop off your donations. You can also buy stuff, and it doesn't have to be for presents.
No. Well, it can be presents for you.
You can be selfish.
Please be selfish.
You could say you're buying it for other people, and really, you just kind of forget to give it to them. And that's okay, too. Now, how long have you been doing this thing?
Oh, God, what will this be? Well, I think this will be the 7th year. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think this is going to be our 7th year doing this. Minus, with 1 year in between. So 6 in a row, and then a bump, and now our 7th year. So yeah, we've been doing this for 7 years. It's been growing each year. People really seem to enjoy it. Again, because it's usually around this time you don't have conventions, so a lot of those vendors that you get those more specialty items during the year, you can't find anywhere. You have no place to go to get them. We're bringing them all in one place for you to come and see them. So.
And you do this. Who assists with this? First off, the origin of it. How did you come up with this?
I am more the assistant, actually. My wife Jules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife Jules is the one who really came up with this. She's more the business oriented of the two of us. Which, if any of you know both of us, that's a scary concept. She was thinking about it. She's like, just like what I said, is that there's no place in the later fall, early winter, where you can go before Christmas and get your geek toys or geek items or homemade geek art kind of things, because usually the conventions kind of die off right around in October. So she's like, well, we should put this together. We should get these people, and we went off and we're in vendor because we, of course, are a vendor in a lot of conventions in the area and the surrounding states. We know a lot of the vendors, so we contacted them. Hey, are you interested? And they were, so we brought them in, and we did the first year and had a blizzard that first year. And so it's like, okay, let's try this the second year and see if the weather's better. We did the second year, got better. More people showed up because they could actually drive, and then we moved to a bigger venue down in Bloomington, and got bigger. And people have always been interested. When we found out last year we couldn't do it, a lot of people were disappointed but understood, and we're already in line to do it this year. So we're good to go. We're up to like 15 to 20 vendors already, I believe. At least in our lineup, waiting to confirm. So
cool.
Yeah, so it should be good.
And then after that, what conventions do you have coming up? Anything exciting? Anything fun?
Anything fun? Oh well, yeah. I mean, mainly not until next year. However, I've already. I mean, all right. I'm going to say it, hoping that they announce it before this actually drops. So I may be giving away information that I'm not supposed to, but I don't care. Wolfie and I have been asked back as guests of honor at Anime Iowa next year in July. So we'll be doing that again, which is cool. So we'll be messing around with all the different people and having fun. I'll be at Convergence in the dealer's room, of course.
I have heard an ugly rumor about Convergence, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that the free flow of alcohol is going to slow. It has been slowed.
Well, that happened last year. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the details of this coming year. What it was is that the venue that they had were having some major issues with what could be and couldn't be done. And this is also why they are no longer at that venue this next year. So they are actually moving to the Hyatt in downtown Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Yeah. It's a really good place. Anime Detour is there as well. And I was there last year to see what that's like. And the facility is really nice and really well put together. And the staff and the management is all for having the conventions there. They were doing stuff like in the hotel rooms, there were stacks of towels that were specifically said, hey, we know the costumes are great. Here are some towels that you can specifically use to remove your makeup.
Oh, cool.
And it was done in a nice card and everything like that. And we went up to the convention guys and we're like, wow, that was a really good idea. And they went, what? So the hotel was taking it on their own to really make everybody feel very comfortable and very welcome. So it was a really nice change from the old venues that we were at. So the Hyatt's really I think is going to be really cool for Convergence and for other conventions that are going there. And it's a fairly large place. I don't know if you've been there, but
yes, I have.
Yeah. So, what were you doing there?
This was back when I was working downtown. We had trainings there.
Oh, okay.
And one of the big rooms. And I still remember we went to the training, and we were supposed to be in the first half of the training. And then the second half of the training, we were supposed to go back. So we're there for the first half of the training. And then afterward, we don't want to go back real fast. So we were just kind of hanging out, slowly making our way to go back. And one of the perky girls who's in charge of the training was going around telling people, all right, it's time to go back in. And then she came up to us and it's like, if you guys could stop talking and head on in, that'd be so great. Thank you.
So you got the second part of the training as well?
No, but we did capture that as part of our way of being so passive-aggressive with each other at work. If you could take care of that case that I sent you, it'd be so great. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, we were so nice. Thank you. And you've probably heard me say that because it's become part of my repertoire where every so often I'll go, if you could blah, 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 that'd be so great. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you have.
Everything I say has an origin.
That's how I got here. Hey, if you could do that podcast, that'd be great.
Actually, it's if you could figure out a way to lock Reginald out of the room, that'd be so great.
uh, but yeah, so that's going to be great. I think at the high, it's going to be awesome. So I've got those. I'll be at Anime Detour. I don't know what capacity at the moment, because they haven't auditioned for their MCs yet for next year. But I'll be attempting to go for that again. I don't know. Let's see what else. We're going to try to be at Demicon in Des Moines, Iowa. Be back at Icon, I'm sure, next fall in Cedar Rapids. I'm in Iowa a lot, and that kind of disturbs me. But
And remember, when you're in Cedar Rapids, you have to go to the place where Captain Kirk will be conceived.
No, I don't. I mean,
they have a plaque and everything.
I know. Des Moines has the more important thing.
And that is?
Krispy Kreme.
Oh. Well, it's no Tim Hortons, but okay.
And I am so thankful for that.
You could be replaced.
I am replacing somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I better get my list. But I thought, with Joe out, yes, I'm having some special guests, and for my special guests, we're going to kind of be, I'm kind of being a very welcoming host in that we're going to do a hero history of your hero. The character you like the most.
Really?
Squirrel Girl.
Oh, I was thinking Omaha, but okay.
I still haven't got the book that ends the Omaha the Cat Dancer story. I need to find that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it ended, actually, so I guess I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yes, Reed Waller, Kate Worley, and Kate's husband finished it off about 4 or 5 years ago, but it was mail order only, so I didn't get it at the time. Kate Worley has since passed.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit hard to do comics at that point.
So they finished it up. Actually, she passed as they were finishing it up, and her spouse, whose name I can't remember right now, is the one who finished it. But I actually am friends with Reed. I should tell him, hey, when are you doing that omnibus of the entire Omaha the Cat Dancer? God damn it!
Yeah.
Because I only buy omnibuses now. It feels like.
Well, once you start in that vein, you kind of have to continue. Otherwise, things just don't match up. And
there's actually, this character has 3 omnibuses coming out in the next few months.
Oh, no.
And that is Thanos, the Mad Titan.
Yes.
The first omnibus is going to be all the stories that Starlin did of Thanos in the 70s.
Okay.
In order. The second one will be the Infinity and I forget the other one. And I decided not to get that because I already have the Infinity is in the Jonathan Hickman Avengers run. That's in an omnibus. So I don't need to buy. If I start buying stories that, I've got this in 2 different omnibuses, then I have a real problem.
I believe you already have that problem, if I remember correctly.
Just quiet, you.
Uh-huh.
And the third one is they are putting out the Infinity War as a omnibus.
The new one?
Well, there's Infinity Gauntlet, then Infinity War, and then Infinity Crusade.
Oh, and Infinity War is also what they're calling the recent crossover.
Yeah, but
yeah.
No, that's Infinity Wars.
Oh, sorry.
Wars.
Okay, so they're doing
because then they do Infinity Warps.
Right. Which I've already read some of the ones that they have of that one shot or the 1 to 2 shots. like sorcerer. What is it? Oh God, what they called it? Sorcerer.
Steve Rogers, Sorcerer something, where
Yeah.
Steve Rogers gets Doctor Strange's powers or some such.
Well, basically, it's sorcerer soldier or something like that, or supreme.
Soldier
Yeah.
Supreme.
Soldier Supreme. That's it. Which is an interesting book.
The thing I've heard about it is that the character knows that he's two characters jammed together, but when it comes time for them to re-separate, he goes, "Wait a minute, I don't want to go."
Well, I haven't seen the story up to the point where they try to separate. In his own book, he finds out, like towards the end, finds out that he's two characters in one. But then the call for all the heroes comes, so he doesn't have an opportunity to really deal with it. So,
but I like that idea of, okay, here's this third character made from the merging of the two, and he's like, wait a minute, don't I have a right to live? That's a really cool philosophical idea.
Yes, and they did it in Voyager. Yep. But yes,
but that was, almost 30 years ago. 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Feel old yet?
If it was 30 years ago, yes.
I actually did that with somebody at work. They were talking about, there's going to be a new Picard series in Star Trek. And I said, yep, Michael Chabon is the showrunner. And it's so weird when I think about that Next Generation started 30 years ago.
Yep.
And the person just looked at me as if I told them, yep, and I'm going to be drowning puppies over the weekend. Their eyes just went, oh.
See, that one, that's fine, because when Next Gen came on, I was only like 10. So, but if Voyager was 30 years ago, I have a problem.
It's still fun for me to remember that one of The Rock's first acting gigs was on Voyager.
Was it on Voyager? I thought he had already been in like The Scorpion King and...
I think he had filmed The Scorpion King, where, no, he hadn't filmed Scorpion King yet. He'd filmed The Mummy.
Oh, okay.
Where he was the Scorpion King, and really he was only in it for like 30 seconds, and then the rest of it, they pasted his picture onto a CGI scorpion.
Yes.
Which, don't watch it now. Don't watch it now. It looks like a bad PS1 game.
It looked that way when it came out.
Yeah, it has not aged well.
No. It didn't age well within days. I mean, I love that movie. I actually really, really like that movie, but those special effects were absolutely atrocious, even at the time. This isn't even one of those you can say, well, at the time they were amazing. No, they weren't.
It's funny because I am at the group home. I'm in one of two houses.
Okay.
Now, in one of the houses I'm in, actually I'm in one of three.
Okay.
Because I'm over in one and all they watch is Channel 4.
Hufflepuff?
Which is the local CBS affiliate. That's all they watch.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what's on it.
Okay.
And if you turn it, one of the clients will actually get really upset because what if there's bad weather? Doesn't matter. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. We need to keep it on Channel 4. Why? Because what if there's bad weather? We need to know about it.
Uh-huh.
In one of the other cottages, it's either on Disney Junior or Nick Junior, and
Gryffindor, okay.
Oh, I had no idea animation for children had gotten that bad.
I have not seen them recently, but yeah, I've heard it's pretty bad.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse thing they do is like I could do better animation on my tablet. They must have a budget of a bunch of Boston baked beans.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oof.
And then in the other cottage, they'll watch movies, but they're watching them on basic cable, so it's movies that are like 10, 15 years old.
Right.
And when I see the CGI in those movies, it does not look good in high def, and it has not aged well at all. You watch, it's like, oh, that's cringeworthy.
Yeah, you don't play. You really. They need to stop trying to put the old special effects in high definition because it doesn't help.
Well, actually, if you're talking old special effects, they look kind of cool. Because, you watch a Ray Harryhausen in high def, and it's cool because, he did the stop motion and really detailed in his miniatures and models and stuff.
hmm Well, okay, I mean CGI, like the
But the
old CGI.
CGI from 10, 15 years ago, ooh, they were working on Commodore 128s, I think.
Uh
Oh,
huh.
oh. And there are some where it's, they just digitally put a face on that, and it looks like somebody made a mask out of a picture and put it on.
Yes. Kind of like my mirror looks every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about the special effects.
Right.
We're here to talk about the Thanos.
Until we get later in the episode.
And you have said in the past that your first experience with Thanos was the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes, it was Silver Surfer 50, the one with the silver embossed cover. That was the lead up straight into the first episode or first issue of Infinity Gauntlet. So Thanos, I think Thanos himself was in like a couple panels, but then he was being projected through the statue that he had been turned into all those years ago with Adam Warlock and stuff. Back in the original Magus story.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was really cool. I thought it was. I mean, I was trying to think of how old I was. I was in my early teens. I mean, like 13 or 14, I think, at the time. And I thought it was really cool. It was the first real comic I had picked up. I mean, I had Transformer comics and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, but this was really the first mainstream world where it didn't come from a cartoon. And I thought that was really cool. And then I got into the Infinity Gauntlet, and that was awesome in my mind, and still is one of the best stories that I want, or that I think is one of the best stories. But that I know is because it was my first story.
No, I'm going to agree with you. I think that Jim Starlin was firing on all cylinders with that story.
Yeah.
And it really, because my first Thanos story was Warlock number 9, which was, in the middle of the Magus story.
Oh, okay.
Thanos shows up at the end, and Starlin gives him this brilliant entrance where, at the end of the issue, the air starts to crackle, and then there's a hole in space, and then Thanos walks through. He's this big, almost stone-like creature, and he's on Adam Warlock's side, but he seems so scary. And when you read him from that story, it's almost like, okay, he's amoral, but he's helping Adam Warlock, but he might fight him later. They're teaming up against this, greater evil.
Yeah.
And then I went back and got the Captain Marvel stuff, where he was the villain. It was, a villain. He wasn't, kind of, in wrestling, they call them tweeners, guys who are bad guys, but they're also good guys.
Right.
In the Warlock story, he was a tweener, but in the Captain Marvel story, he was a heel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was really no question.
But Thanos first showed up back in Iron Man.
55, yep.
In an issue that Stan Lee said was so bad that he had Jim Starlin pulled from the book.
It was not a good one. And Thanos himself wasn't really in it. He was in like the last panel.
Right. But he looked very different.
Uh-huh.
And I'll give a little background because one of the things that Jim Starlin has said in the past is that when he came to Marvel, he'd been in the military, and then he did some college. And when he was in psych class, they talked about the death urge and the love urge, so Thanatos and Eros.
Right.
So, when he comes to Marvel, first off, if you've seen any of Jim Starlin's art, he's a huge Jack Kirby fan.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You can
Monster
definitely see
Jack
that.
Kirby fan. He did a little more work on anatomy than Kirby did, but he still uses the same poses, the same foreshortening, especially in his really early stuff. So if you look at that first appearance of Thanos, I know that people say he looks like Darkseid, but no, that first appearance, he looks like Metron.
Yes. Yes, he
And,
does. He's even. I think he's sitting. No, he is standing in that one.
Yes, he's standing, but he's not. He's really kind of thin,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't look the same. And what he said was, when he wanted to bring the character back, Roy Thomas told him, "Hey, if you're going to rip off the New Gods, rip off the only cool character, Darkseid."
I can agree with that part.
So he made Thanos much bigger, but he also, and this is Starlin's own words, he took the idea of that Darkseid wasn't the guy who came in and kicked your ass. Darkseid's the guy who manipulates other people into kicking your ass. So in a lot of his early appearances, he's more directing people to do things so that he can get the cosmic cube.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I liked about when I went back and read through all that, Starlin created this whole sort of mythos around Thanos on the Saturn's moon Titan, where the Highfather knockoff.
Oh, that'd be Mentor.
Has two sons, Thanos and Star Fox.
Yep.
And Star Fox's power is he could manipulate people into sleeping with him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a hero for you.
He's become a little problematic.
Yes.
But remember, Thanos, that Starlin got this idea from Eros and Thanatos.
Yep.
So
just Star Fox shouldn't have gone on to be like this huge Avenger. It's like, people, no. It's like Bill Cosby joining the police force at the moment,
Well, back then, I hate doing that. Well, times were different back then, but times were different back then.
Yeah.
And they did change his power up a bit so that it wasn't so creepy. It's now, and even Jim Starlin in the new Thanos trilogy he's doing is using Star Fox and talking about how, I did this, and then I did this, and now I do this. So he's kind of acknowledging that Star Fox is not the most politically correct of characters anymore.
No.
But one of the things was that Starlin just kept using Thanos, and I don't know if he had a plan other than I really like this character and I want to use him. Until the long Captain Marvel cosmic story. And Dan, have you read that story?
No, not yet, actually. I hadn't been able to really get a hold of it, but now it is starting to show up on Marvel Unlimited.
Yes.
So.
And it's going to be in the big Thanos
Omnibus?
Omnibus. It was in the Life of Captain Marvel trade paperback. So if you're looking for it, you'll want to look for it in the Life of Captain Marvel or in the Thanos Omnibus. Again, it's starting to show up on Marvel Unlimited. But the story was that Thanos had gotten the Cosmic Cube and made himself into a god.
Yes. I know what the story's about, but I have not actually read it. But yes, he became a god for the first time.
And it was also the first time that Thanos' hubris defeated him.
Yes.
The heroes kind of were the tool, but he really defeated himself, which is always been his Achilles heel when Starlin's writing him.
Yes.
Now, when other people write him, that doesn't much happen as often. Because they just kind of use him as, he's the big, scary guy.
Yes.
But Thanos was defeated by Captain Marvel and the Avengers, and that was a classic run. That's one of those runs that when I started reading comics in 75, 76, letter writers still referenced, other creators still referenced. Starlin was doing Warlock and he brought Thanos back in the Magus story.
Mm-hmm.
And Thanos was more of a ally of Adam Warlock. Now, have you read those stories?
Yes, those I have.
And I've praised the Jim Starlin run on multiple episodes, but I want your take on it because it was not a normal superhero comic by any means.
No, not at all. I mean, even when you had the darker version of the hero, it was not quite like this. They didn't do it. I mean, I haven't read a lot of other comics around that time, so I don't know how much of the time travel stuff they messed with back then. But this whole idea of the villain coming back to manipulate his own timeline in order to make sure he happened, and then you've got the manipulator in the background trying to help Adam Warlock until it's revealed to be Thanos, which, like you said, awesome reveal. With him just kind of stepping in and going, well, I'm helping you and you don't really have a choice. Um, um, so the whole thing, there wasn't really a like massive fight. It was almost all mental.
Yes.
More like a chess game than it was a let's go beat up the villain. And I thought that was really cool. I like the way they put it together. Like I said, I went back. Of course, I had read so much more of the more recent stuff before I went back and saw that. So the fact that it was still interesting to read says something to me. So,
and it also made Thanos more interesting of a character because the whole idea of he's in love with death and wants to kill the universe. Okay, that's interesting. But to make him more of a planner, more of a long-term thinker, made him a better villain.
Yes, I agree fully.
One of the problems I have with a lot of supervillains is that I'm just going to show up and beat the crap out of you. Rather than, I'm going to put things into place so that when we finally do meet, I've already beat you.
Yeah.
I've already won.
Very Alan Moore, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Starlin left Marvel at the end of his run on Warlock. And nobody else used Thanos. But Archie Goodwin became editor-in-chief at Marvel for about a year. And one of the things he did, he went to Jim Starlin and said, hey, you had this thing in Warlock where he goes to the future and kills himself. You want to pay that off? So that's why you get Avengers Annual number 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2.
Oh, okay.
That was the payoff to the Adam Warlock and Thanos story. Starlin was actually brought back, okay, you're going to pay it off, you're going to end it. And I read those. That was, again, in that stack of comics, my babysitter's sister's husband would read the more cosmic, more adult-aimed, college-aimed Marvel comics and then give them to me. So I'm happily reading Thor and Spider-Man, and then you get this cosmic stuff, and it's like, whoa. You're 13 years old, and you're reading, about a character going into the future to kill himself. Whoa.
I'm just picturing young Cory and his mind being blown.
A lot of that 70s stuff at Marvel did blow your mind because you would read it and it would be, just weird and cosmic and strange. And then within a few years, it was so bland that I know a lot of older fans who will point to when they quit reading comics.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who, when comics went to 15 cents, I didn't read them anymore. Or, when Kirby went to DC, I didn't read them anymore. Or when Jim Shooter took over, I didn't read them anymore. And I got to be honest, if I were older, when Jim Shooter took over Marvel, I would have dropped them. Because he got rid of all the people like Starlin and all of the more interesting people who were writing more complex stories.
Right.
And to this day, I still think that those two annuals are Starlin's best work. It was superhero. The Avengers are trying to stop Thanos from destroying the sun,
Like you do.
and they fail.
Yeah.
They fail and they get captured.
Mhm.
Now the heroes do eventually win, but it was when you look at the story, it's like, okay, the Avengers fight all of Thanos' minions, they get beat, then Spider-Man and the Thing show up and they rally the troops and save the day.
Yeah.
But if you actually read the story, it's more character interplay. It's more of the cosmic balance stuff, and it ties up all of the loose ends that he had through all of his work. And it's just a beautiful finale to what Starlin was doing, where Thanos is trapped in stone, crying for his lost love for all eternity, and Adam Warlock has been absorbed into the Soul Gem, which is a paradise.
Yes.
The end.
Yep.
And then the next time Thanos shows up is actually in the death of Captain Marvel, as the person who ushers the original Captain Marvel into the afterlife.
Yes.
Because he now sits at the right hand of death.
Yes.
And have you read that story?
That one I read a while ago. I thought it was really interesting. I mean, it was really interesting. Just the concept of kind of being brought through the land of death, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. The other thing I liked about that story is, death of Captain Marvel. He died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there was a requisite fight scene in it that, even as I read it, it's like, this fight scene's just here because they have to have a fight scene.
Which it did very much feel like. It's like, okay.
But I don't know if you know about this. Starlin started work on that book after his father had passed away of cancer.
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah. So, a very emotional story for a superhero story. And Thanos was used in it, but to this day, it's more like, why? Other than, okay, here's my greatest hits.
Well, kind of, yeah. They do the thing is, Marvel does that kind of, I mean, I guess I don't know if I should say a lot, but I mean, it happens really often where just the characters that really haven't been used for a while just show up in really odd ways, like in that, and the ones that I'm thinking of, it's always, well, the character has died and now is being talked to by like an enemy that hasn't been around for a while. In fact, Thanos has done it 3 or 4 times now that I think of it. He did it in that one. He did it in Spider-Man number 17, I think.
Yes, written by Don McGregor.
Yeah. And he did it... There's another time he did it, too. I think it was the Silver Surfer issue. I don't remember which one, though. That he ended up in the land of the dead, and Thanos was there. It was just, So apparently that's what Thanos is. Thanos is the death like death is in the Sandman series. Just shows up to bring you wherever you're supposed to go.
Unless he's alive and doing evil, shitty things.
No, I think he'll show up anyway.
And then Thanos isn't used for a long time.
Yeah, that was the spread between when he finally showed up again in Silver Surfer, leading up to the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Now, I have told you that some people wanted to use Thanos before Jim Starlin came back and used him, right?
Right. But the editor didn't know who it was?
The editor-in-chief of Marvel. It was Steve Englehart, who did the Silver Surfer series before Starlin, wanted to use Thanos. And you have to get editorial approval. So, okay, I want to use this character because if somebody else is using him, they would go, no. And you could tell because back in the late 70s, everybody fucking used Doctor Doom all the goddamn time. There was one month I counted. because I was really, I read all the Marvel, was a huge Marvel zombie. There was one month I counted, it's like Doctor Doom showed up in 8 comics this month.
Oh, Jesus. And that's back when there wasn't like 100 at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was only like, I think, 35 comics. And one of them was the Superman Spider-Man, the second Superman Spider-Man story. And Doctor Doom defeated Superman by running to the Latvian embassy. And once he was on Latvian soil, Superman couldn't attack him.
Oh, good thing it wasn't the Injustice Superman. All right.
And what bothered me was Superman's empowered by the UN. He even said that earlier in the story, dude.
Yeah. True enough.
So, but no, he went to the editor-in-chief, Tom DeFalco, said, I'd like to do this story. I want to use Thanos. And Tom DeFalco said, who? So he didn't get to use him, but Jim Starlin, who created the character, just kind of went to his editor and said, yeah, I'm using Thanos. He's mine. I'm bringing him back.
Okay.
And the build-up to the Infinity Gauntlet began.
Yeah.
And it took over a year to build up to that story.
Yeah. Actually, because he showed up in Silver Surfer.
34.
Was it 34? I thought he showed up earlier too. Was it 34? No, you're right. 34. Yep. And then had a little story with Silver Surfer that went on to Thanos' quest, and then came back to Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in Thanos' quest, they came, because they had. First, there was just the Soul Gem, and we've talked about this before. There was just the Soul Gem, and then they had a few other gems, but they were all called Soul Gems. Starlin's the one who retconned it into there are 6 gems, and each one controls something different.
Right. Which I think is very cool.
And then we got the Infinity Gauntlet, which I know a lot of people like Secret Wars. They were kids when they read it. There are people who like Secret Wars too. They were dropped on their heads before they read it. But really, to my mind, Infinity Gauntlet was the first well-done major Marvel crossover book.
Yeah. From what I've read, going back and everything, that I would agree with that. Because Secret Wars was interesting, but I don't even really think it was. And like you said, I don't think it was done well as a crossover. It was a very interesting concept. It's just I don't think it was executed well.
No. Because I remember reading the first issue going, okay, this could be good. And then it just was so bad. And the reason, to my mind, it was so bad is because the characters all acted out of character.
Yeah. Very much so.
And, that story was stretched so long.
It was like 24 issues, wasn't it?
No, it was a 12-issue story, but it felt like 50.
Okay.
And it could have been done in 3.
Yeah.
But Thanos came out of Infinity Gauntlet a changed man. He went into it wanting to, please death by killing half the universe. And when it was over, Dan, what did Thanos do when he had failed with the Infinity Gauntlet?
Right away? Or what you eventually found out?
Right away.
Right away, everyone thought he had become a farmer. Yeah.
But the book sold way too well for that.
Well, yeah, but then they didn't bring him back as a villain, though. They brought him back as a hero, or more of an anti-hero. It's like, okay, well, the universe, I live in it. I want it to stay the same. I better do something about this. So, but at the same time, you find out that he's constantly been watching everything going on because his little farmhouse is actually just the top of a huge technologically advanced
I thought that
bunker.
was so great.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a Zen farmer.
But I'm going,
no.
But I'm going to keep a lookout out for everything.
And he was the secret part of the Infinity Watch.
Yeah.
In the least shocking reveal of all time. Starlin built up so, the person who owns the sixth gem, it's a big secret. You'll never guess who it is. Then when they reveal it, it's like, duh.
Yeah. It's like, okay, he's been hanging around in these comics for how long? Yeah. I will say I do like Adam Warlock's reasoning for giving it to him, though.
Oh, that I didn't mind.
Yeah.
It was story-wise where, it's a big secret and nobody will ever be able to guess. Dude, all these characters in it are the ones you created in the 70s. There's only one who doesn't have a gem. I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, I know, but I was surprised when it was Impossible Man.
See, that I would have liked. That would have been awesome.
But yeah, so then they had
Thanos. We all know it's you. No, it's not.
Yeah. No,
it's the guy from Pop-Up.
From who?
That's Impossible Man's home planet.
No, I know. I was saying everybody else. Oh. From who? The editor-in-chief. From who?
Well, by then, Tom DeFalco had just kind of given up. What? I think it was like, 91, 92, and that was going on, and Marvel was publishing over 120 books a month.
Something like that. And they all tied in, of course.
And they were introducing 2-3 new books every month.
Yep.
Being a retailer during that period was just insane. And then Image, Rob Liefeld's going to put out 20 books next month. No, he's going to put out 2 books, and the rest will be a year late.
Yeah. Yeah. What a time to be alive.
But Starlin eventually, he did a couple more big crossovers to Diminishing Returns.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left without doing anything really major with Thanos. So he just kind of kicked around for a while. The one story I remember him being in after Starlin left was he was one of the members of the Secret Defenders. And at that point, it's like, yeah, they've lost the thread here.
Well, he wasn't really a member of it. He for basically in Doctor Strange's comics at that time, it was where Doctor Strange ended up having to stay underground because his power had been corrupted by the voodoo witch. I'm trying to remember what her name was. But so Thanos kind of became the Doctor Strange member where he was bringing the teams together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wasn't really a part of it as much as, hey, do this. Why? Because I want you to. It's like, oh. Are you going to say no? I'm good. That whole story arc was interesting because that then went into the Cosmic Power 6-issue miniseries, which followed a cosmic entity in each one. Like the Jack of Hearts, Thanos was one of them. Thanos was like the first one. Terex was one. But it all led up to Mohr.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was... I loved the reasoning again behind Thanos in that story. Because beforehand you had all the... Yes, I'm trying to appease death. I want to be with her and stuff like that. And then the Infinity Gauntlet happened, and he had that. Okay, that's not not how things work. But at this time, it was I'm bored. That was pretty much his entire reasoning for doing the entire thing. I'm bored and want a challenge. This guy sounds like a challenge. And that was his whole reasoning for doing it. That's it.
And then the story that he showed up in after that was Kazar.
Oh, God. That's right. I remember picking up that first issue of that and went, what the fuck?
Written by Mark Waid, drawn by Adam Kubert. And I recently reread it, and I still went, Kazar? For those who don't know, Kazar is kind of Marvel's Tarzan knockoff. And they've been publishing Kazar stories since the Martin Goodman had pulps in the 30s.
And it hasn't gotten any better.
Then went into the comics he was in Marvel Mystery Comics, Marvel's Timely's first comic. And then he came back when Marvel started publishing superheroes in the 60s. Where did he first show up, Dan?
Kazar? I have no idea.
In the X-Men.
Oh, in the Savage Land, right?
Yes,
yeah.
The X-Men went to the Savage Land and ran into Kazar.
Right.
But the next time that I remember Thanos actually mattering, Starlin came back and did a couple of miniseries called Infinity Abyss and Marvel The End.
Yes. Yes.
And Marvel has since said that those are not part of continuity.
I did not hear that part.
Yep.
I can understand completely with Infinity Abyss. That was that was looking at it going, okay, I know Thanos was bored, but that was a mistake.
Here's the thing. I remember reading those, and I just remember at the time being disappointed. I don't remember any plot points.
Oh, my God. Okay, the plot points weren't even that good. Basically, what it was is that there was this entity that was what held the universe together, basically, as far as I could tell. And he was dying because of old age, not really anything other than that. And there was this human child that was supposed to be his replacement. Why? Don't know. I don't think they ever explained it. It was just this random kid in upstate New York. Because, of course, it's going to be from New York. It's Marvel Comics.
Yes, everything comes out of New York.
Yeah. So then how Thanos and team are brought into this is the fact that there are these characters that are mixes of Thanos and other characters from the Marvel Universe. You had one that was Thanos and Iron Man crossover, one was Doctor Strange and Thanos, one was Professor X and Thanos, one was the Hulk and Thanos, and no one knew what they were there, but they're trying to stop the replacement for happening so that way the universe ends. Meh.
Which starts in Marvel Universe The End.
Oh, no. That's a different story still.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this is a totally different story still.
I just remember it led into Marvel The End.
No, I don't think they were ever connected.
They came out right after each other, though.
Oh, I'm sure they did. They didn't connect, though.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was totally stupid.
Well, Marvel The End was cool in that it was, this is the end of the Marvel Universe. And at the end of the story, Thanos recreates the Marvel Universe. That's the... Now you know why in the current Marvel Universe there are characters who know the universe has been recreated a whole bunch of times.
Yes.
But he recreates the universe without him in it.
Yes.
And only Adam Warlock knows that he ever existed.
Yeah.
which is probably why Tom Brevoort said, yeah, that didn't take place in continuity because it would wipe out a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet? Yeah, somebody did that. We don't know who it was.
Some guy. It wasn't
For
that.
some reason, we can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
He just killed half the beings in the universe, but,
Yeah.
that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. It's not anybody we decided was worth watching over, so,
And then a little while later, they start a Thanos series.
Yeah.
The first 6 issues are by Starlin, but the next 6 issues are, to my mind, more important because they were by Keith Giffen and were the beginning of what they called the New Marvel Cosmic because they led into Annihilation.
Yeah.
Which there's not enough time to go into Annihilation, but Annihilation was Marvel's attempt to, we want to do Cosmic without rehashing what Jim Starlin does.
Right.
So they brought in 2 writers who worked on 2000 AD, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. And they were mostly known for working on Judge Dredd and other British books. And I loved Annihilation. Absolutely loved it. Loved the spin-offs, loved the Guardians of the Galaxy and Nova, all the series that tied in with them. They did give Thanos a 4-issue limited series where he was not the all-knowing, he could destroy everything. No, he's at the mercy of the Annihilation Wave as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really liked. And then there was a second Annihilation Wave.
Yes. Which is also a little weird.
Yeah. And then there was a Thanos Imperative.
Yes.
And you will have to tell me about that because, quite honestly, I have not read it.
Oh, crap. The Imperative. I'm trying to remember which story that was because...
I know that they were going into what was known as the Cancerverse.
Thank you.
And it was called the Cancerverse because nothing died in it.
No, nothing died in it. What it was is that Thanos had been killed in the second Annihilation Wave by Drax. And suddenly...
Finally!
Yeah. And then in the Guardians of the Galaxy leading up to the Thanos Imperative, they found Adam Warlock's cocoon. And they were waiting for him to come out. But it wasn't Adam Warlock who came out. It was Thanos. Thanos came out of it, killed off one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Phia, P-H-Y-R-A, I think.
Phila.
Yeah, Phila. Killed her off like instantly. It was one of those, okay, that wasn't really a dramatic death. And what you find out is that he is the Avatar of Death in our universe, in the Cancer universe, wants to try to bring him in and destroy him so they can take over this universe. And Peter Quill, Nova, and Thanos go into the Cancer universe, and basically are actually able to kill things off because Thanos is the Avatar of Death, and they end up having to stay there as they close off the rift. So all 3 of them are stuck in the Cancerverse. Yeah.
And you think that they're all dead at the end of that story.
Yes.
They've since all come back.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And when they bring Thanos back this time...
Uh-huh. And at first, when they bring him back, they don't even explain how he's back.
Right.
At all. And Peter Quill's back too, and they don't explain how he's back. And I'm trying to remember which one comes. Is this where Infinity picks up?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was oh man.
See, Infinity did not work on its own.
No,
but I liked it that what it was. Thanos discovered that the Avengers were all off planet, and he said, "Well, if they're all gone, That means Earth is defenseless.
Yeah. So I can go find my son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, one of his sons.
Yeah.
Because what Thanos had been doing was traveling through the universe and killing off his
Progeny.
descendants.
Yeah.
And one was left.
Yeah. I don't know.
I take it you did not like the fight with Thane.
Eventually, it was. I just didn't like the whole concept. It was like, wait. Infinity, we're going to watch. We're basically the comic series basically had two different stories that really didn't tie together, except for one was the excuse of why Thanos came to Earth at that particular moment, and he was going after his killing his progeny. Why? Other than to do it. Okay, I understand, but still, it was like, what? Where the hell did this story come from? And then when Thane became his son became, had the Terrigen Mist hit him, and he turned into, got his powers and everything. I thought that was kind of cool, and it was neat that he did the whole. He didn't kill Thanos; he kept him perpetually alive, which was more damaging to Thanos than killing him. I thought that was cool. It's just the overall arc. I didn't like the overall story, but there were bits and pieces that were okay, and it should have been done as two different stories. But so yeah, they did that. They did Infinity, and then they did.
Well, then there was Secret Wars.
Yeah, then there was Secret Wars, which is a whole another.
But now there are really two Thanos stories running. One is the one that ran in the Thanos series.
Yes.
By Donny Cates.
Which I liked. I actually really liked it.
And they end with Thanos supposedly killing himself in the far future.
Have you not read it?
Maybe. It's really clear that they have not finished that story. So I think whatever you saw at the end of that is just the first part.
Well, see, that's the confusing thing, because supposedly they finished it off in Infinity Wars, which I don't get.
Which I haven't read yet.
Okay. Do you care about spoilers, or do you want me to let you read it?
Well, we're doing a hero history, so
okay.
You got to tell.
All right,
you got it.
What it is, I mean, in his own series, he fights Thane. He loses his powers. He regains his powers, and then he's brought to the future by himself because he has won. He and like 3 other people are the only things left in existence. They take out the final things, and then he wants his younger self to kill the older self wants his younger self to kill himself. He refuses to do so because he thinks it's weak, and says that he doesn't like what he's become, and he's going to go back in the past and somehow change it.
Yep.
And it's left with the idea that he did, but nobody knows how. And then in Infinity Wars, Thanos is killed off. Now, it got me.
They've killed a few characters in Infinity Wars, though.
Yes, but the thing is, and this is the thing, is that it was this big deal when it happened. It's like everybody's like, "Oh my God, they killed off Thanos!" I'm like, he's been dead multiple times. There was a story he killed himself because he knew he would then be brought back. That's how he got out of the situation he was in. He's like, I'm floating in the middle of nowhere. No one knows how to get to me, and I need to get this information to people. Okay, he blows his own head off, and a couple months later, he wakes up in Death's realm, and Death is like, okay, go and do what you're doing. This is not a big deal, people. Until you prove to me this is actually him dying. No. He will usually come back within issues, if not the next.
Yes. And they're playing with the Infinity Stones, so
yeah,
we
have no idea what's going on with that. But so that's where he's at the moment in the comics. He is appearing to Gamera but we don't know if it's actually him or just a hallucination of hers. It's played off more like it's a hallucination, so we don't know what's going on. But
And then there is also a series. There were 3 hardcover original graphic novels by Starlin.
yeah,
Thanos the Infinity Revelation, Thanos the Infinity Relativity, and Thanos the Infinity Finale,
yes,
which tell a complete story. There was also a mini-series called The Infinity Entity, which takes place between Infinity Relativity and Infinity Finale.
yeah.
And now Starlin is doing another 3 Thanos books. I think the first one came out, The Infinity Siblings. I don't remember what the second one is, but I know that it either came out last week or is coming out within the next few weeks.
I think it's coming out in the next few weeks.
Okay. But Starlin and Alan Davis will be doing 3. And they do not take place in the Marvel Universe. This is Jim Starlin just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And I really like those.
Yeah.
Starlin, he's playing with the toys of the Marvel Universe without having to worry about how they affect anything else, which I like. I know that there are some people who, ooh, continuity. I don't care. Starlin's in his 60s. Let him play.
Continuity? What the hell have they been reading?
Besides, the universe has been destroyed at least. I forget how many times they said that the universe has been destroyed and recreated, but it's multiple times.
Yeah. Let's think. How old is Cyclops at this point?
He's dead.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Both Cyclopses are dead, the old one and the young one.
And the okay. What about fine? Jean Grey. How old is Jean Grey?
Supposedly in her 30s.
Yeah. Okay. And she first came out in 60 something.
63.
63. Yeah.
The Marvel Universe is 17 years old.
I
think no. The Marvel Universe is 10 years old. I would have to look. I just know it really freaked me out when I realized that Captain America came out of the ice after 9/11. Because the Marvel Universe always, they do, I forget the exact term, but it's basically, Fantastic Four happened a number of years ago.
Right.
And that just kind of gets pulled along. And I don't mind that at all, because Reed Richards and the Thing fought in World War II. They would be in their 90s now. Shut up, I don't want to know. When Stan started doing the book, he did not think they would last he didn't think they'd last 3 years, let alone over 50.
Yeah.
But Starlin is doing his own hardcover graphic novels, and they're fantastic. Beautifully put together, too. And Alan Davis, I'm sorry, I'll read anything drawn by Alan Davis. But I wish they would do more of this, where they go to older creators and go, okay, do you have a story left? Do an original graphic novel. We don't need to tie it in where you sit down with editorial and try and work it out with all the other stuff we're publishing. And nope, just do the story you want to do.
Yeah. It was. They have the. they've had titles that would allow them to do that. I mean, the What Ifs, the Elseworlds in DC. There's so many options for them to be able to do that and not worry about it.
And the thing is, Starlin has shown that his stuff sells over time.
Yeah.
So, you're doing these original graphic novels. Guess what? When they fall out of print in 6-7 years, okay, we'll take the first 3, put them in one big book. We'll take the second 3, put them in one big book. There you go.
Yep.
But there you go. That is history of Thanos.
Yeah, at least in the comics.
Yeah, we're not going to do the movies because we've been talking for over an hour, and we have yet to talk about these guys, our sponsors. That's right. Here at the Solitaire Rose Radio Network, we have ads, and our first sponsor is me. That's right, your charming and delightful old Uncle Rat Bastard. I have my first book out with Dangerous Dan Mohr. It's the first 100 strips of our online web strip, Worldwide News, the story of the lowest rated cable news network. And you can get yourself a copy with commentary, with all sorts of extras, with signatures and everything. Just email Dan over at lordshadowflame@gmail.com. Our top sponsor, who's been with us since day one, is DreamHost. DreamHost.com. You need yourself a website, and DreamHost.com is the #1 web host in the whole known universe. Just head over to DreamHost.com, put in the code CRAYZ, KRAYZ, get $20 off your first year. How can you beat that? Our other sponsor is Graze, GRAZE.com. Healthy snacks for a healthy lifestyle. Just head over to Graze, put in the code CORYS 3R5P. Your first and fifth box are free. You could get them weekly. You could get them bi-weekly. You could get them monthly. You could just order a whole bunch of them. It's great stuff to keep you away from the vending machine at work. Now, if you would like to leave a comment for any of the podcasts that we do, we'd love those. Go ahead and email us at solitairerosenetwork@gmail.com, or you can call 952-856-0519. Operators are standing by. Okay, it's just a place that will record your calls, but we'll play them on the air. We'll answer your questions. We love getting feedback. Tell us what you think. Ask a question. Suggest a topic. Be a guest. Send us your stuff. SolitaireRoseNetwork@gmail.com. If you would like to advertise on any of the Solitaire Rose radio shows, you can. Just email us at SolitaireRoseNetwork@gmail.com. Subject advertising. Thanks.
Wow, that was done in a snap.
I am so sneaky about it. You never know when it's going to happen. Kind of like how you never know when a new episode of one of our other podcasts are going to drop. Here I'm going to talk about them. The Solitaire Rose Radio Network has all sorts of podcasts. We've got Scrabbling Across the West with Dave Caffell and his lovely bride Stephanie. They travel across the country playing musical gigs, and at night they sit down to play Scrabble and talk about their day at scrabbling.solitairerose.com. There's Novelcast over at novels.solitairerose.com, where I take the novels that I've written and turn them into audio podcasts. Currently, we are doing a novel called Do the Job, which is a murder mystery set in the world of 1980s professional wrestling. Then, over at badadvice.solitairerose.com, me, Cory Strode, and Wolfie B. Bad, along with Dan Mohr, give bad advice to people who send in questions. That's bad advice over at badadvice.solitairerose.com. The Solitaire Rose Radio Network is growing. Be there! You think NBC will get mad I used that? Now, normally this is where that we would have Joe talk about what's going on the eBays, but Joe's not here, and he has put the eBays on vacation. And this is also where I would say, Dan, what's going on with Worldwide News? But Dan has put Worldwide News on vacation.
Yeah. And
so instead,
I would like to.
Go ahead.
I would like to sit here and tell you, but don't worry, I have plans, because I tell you that every single time. I have plans, and then real life comes and kicks me in the head.
By the way, tell Ish.
Yeah.
You can refer to him however you refer to him. The guy who lives with you and Jules.
Ishmael, yeah.
Tell him that he failed in his job this year because you said his job was to make sure that you worked on your art.
Yep. I've actually been debating on how I was going to bring that up. It's just, yeah.
So instead, we're going to get to my favorite part of the show. No, not where I steal jokes from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. It's Freaking and Geeking. Dan.
Yeah.
What are you freaking on?
What am I freaking about?
Yeah.
Freaking's the bad one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you freaking out about, and what are you geeking on? So now we're doing the freaking.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's...
You've been on the show before. Don't play dumb.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to stall for time.
We only had one co-host who could play dumb, and...
They didn't play.
Senator, I have no knowledge of that.
Oh, what am I freaking on? Surprisingly enough, I don't think there's much I'm freaking on right now. Granted, that's probably because I've been so busy, I have no idea what's going on anymore. Worried about the Bumblebee movie. Not that I'm looking forward to it, but it's been getting saying that it's getting low pre-sales and stuff like that, which is unfortunate because it looks like it's actually going to be the Transformer movie we've been looking for all these years.
And there's some star in it who every time they show a picture, I can't see anybody.
Which one?
It's a John Cena joke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because John Cena does a "You Can't See Me."
I don't know. I don't watch wrestling.
I'm freaking out about the fact that you no-sold my John Cena joke.
It's only fair. You usually no-sell every one of my jokes. Oh no! Don't even try.
That's my gimmick.
That was fucking funny.
That's my gimmick.
I have actually had to talk about kayfabe recently. we were doing the 24-hour gaming for the Gillette Children's, and Wolfie does it instead of me. And a couple of my partners in crime mentioned, it's like, yeah, well, and Daniel's over here playing this. I'm like, no, I'm not. Quit breaking kayfabe. So thank you so much for having that stuck in my head.
I feel, the thing is, I've listened to so many wrestling podcasts that wrestling talk has infected me to the point where, that's his gimmick. Or somebody I used to know who always sold that they were that they were a monster, and then recent news has come out that they really are. And somebody asked me what I thought, and I said, "Well, they're living the gimmick."
So surprisingly enough, I am not really freaking out on that much. How about you, Cory? What are you freaking on?
I have a new tablet. It's a Galaxy Tab S4. The thing is monstrously huge. It's so big it comes with a keyboard.
Okay, isn't that a computer?
Well, a tablet is a computer.
Well, yeah. So you have a laptop. Okay.
Well, except you don't need the keyboard.
Yeah, whatever. I've got one of those too.
And but it came and it's got the Samsung S Pen.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I open it up and I turn it on, and it's walking me through everything, and I'm looking for the instruction manual, and I'm looking, and there isn't one.
Okay.
And it's okay. Well, I bought a memory, a SD card to put in to expand the memory. How do you do that? Well, open the SD card slot.
Seems.
How?
Okay.
I go online. I read I find that one phone company has a manual that they send, and it just says open the SD card slot. I actually have to go and look for a video that says, oh, you got this, you have to get like a paper clip and you put it in here and you do this and you do that. And, of course I did it and it doesn't work. So I have to go to the Sprint store and have them do it because, I'm incompetent. But no instructions on anything like the S Pen. I spent a good half hour online. Do I need to recharge this thing? And if so, how? Because they review it and they don't say, push this button and it does this, and turn on the Bluetooth for this, and it's okay. How do I recharge it? Do I recharge it? You don't recharge it.
You don't?
But no.
Oh.
So I don't know how that works. But it has taken me like 4 or 5 days to just kind of figure out how to do shit on it, because the instruction book is very, well, then you do this. Well, how do you do it?
Of course. That makes perfect
sense. Magic! You wave your hands!
Yes!
The other thing I'm freaking out about it is I have not gotten my eye surgery yet. And this thing doesn't have where you can put your thumb on it. No, they have to look at your irises. Dan, you've seen how squinty my eyes are.
Yes.
5 different times it said, you need to open your eyes. Until finally I said, no, I'll just put in a code. Fuck you. It's a great tablet. I love having it at the gym because it's like having a little mini TV that I could put and watch videos while I'm on the treadmill or the exercise bike or whatever. It's beautiful for that. Great sound. It actually has 4 speakers and it attaches to my Bluetooth headset really well. And it's got 64 gig of memory and it's the newest and flashiest and it's got all kinds of memory. But anytime I want to do one of the things that it's supposed to be really cool at doing, how do you do it? We don't fucking know. You figure it out. Dan, what are you geeking on?
What am I geeking on? Well, I'm geeking. Let's see. I'm geeking on the fact that we're still going to be getting Infinity War Part 2 next year, but that's a whole nother matter. Let's see. What am I geeking on? Otherwise, it was very cool. This is almost a month later, but the thing is, I mentioned earlier the whole 24-hour gaming. Just our household of 3 people raised over $1,400.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, our team was like 600 and something in the rankings, which seems fairly low, but at the same time, there's over 2,000 teams, so for a team of 3, I thought we did pretty good. I played Mass Effect 1 and 2, got through both games.
Wow!
For those of you who have played Mass Effect, in Mass Effect 2 you can actually lose crew members if you do things wrong. I had never lost a crew member before, but this time I was trying to rush through things, so I wasn't doing everything I should have, and I lost a crew member because my engines in my ship blew up. That's how I lost.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. I sat there, my jaw dropped because I didn't realize you'd lose them before the final mission. I was just like, ugh. So that was fun.
So you're screwed.
Huh? So
you were screwed.
Yeah. Well, I got through it. I got through the final mission, even though I didn't have like 4 of my crew members. Let's see. And I finally put together the Lego Voltron. That's awesome. So I'm geeking on that. I'm looking forward to. I have not read the final issues of the Transformers series through IDW, but I'm really looking forward to that. And supposedly they're rebooting it, so I will actually get more Transformers next year.
Actually, I was looking on. IDW has not solicited any new Transformers books for like 2 months.
No. It's ending this month with their current run, and then they're going to restart it. I think they said somewhere around March next year.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's months out. It's like half a year out. So at least that's what
now. Have they killed the whole Hasbro verse?
I think what they're doing is they're kind of bringing it to a conclusion so they can restart it properly. Because what they did with the Hasbro universe is that they were already very deep into the Transformer storyline and the G.I. Joe storyline, and suddenly went, hey, we should bring all of this together, and then forced it. And I don't think it worked. There were some cool concepts, but I think it needed to either start that way or not at all, and they tried to do it. So I don't know if they're going to do a Hasbro universe, but I know that's been their goal for like years now. So
because I know that Micronauts kind of faded, ROM faded. Were there other books in that?
Mask, and that faded.
Yeah. No one ever cared about Mask, okay? No.
I loved those toys.
Yeah, but comic-wise?
Oh, no.
They did, I think DC did like 4 issues and...
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't work as a comic. It's kind of like it has to be done really, really well. And like the Transformers is hard to do as a comic, but at least they have the vehicles that transform are the characters. In Mask, it's just the vehicles transform. So you can't really do anything with them except for have them transform, which was the cool thing, and otherwise there was nothing. You can't do that really well in a medium that doesn't allow you to watch it happen. I liked the cartoon, the original cartoon back in the 80s. Granted, if I go back and watch it now, I'll probably hate it. But at the time, I liked it. And we're getting really off on a tangent again. But yeah, I don't know what's happened. I just know that supposedly they're rebooting the Transformer universe, so it's gonna come back. It's just not coming back until later in 2019. So, how about you, Cory? What are you geeking on?
My new tablet is so cool for watching video and reading comics.
You are so two-faced.
No, it's on the stuff that it does unbelievably well. The Marvel Unlimited app is beautiful on the thing, just beautiful. The books are big, they're bright. The screen is amazing. I mean, the screen's better than any TV I've ever had.
Wow.
I've also been putting a lot of public domain comics on there because more and more stuff's falling into public domain, and it's all available out on a few websites. And I like reading that stuff, even though it's, wow, this is from 1952, and oh, Lord, is that racist? Like one of the books I picked up that Marvel was dumping was the Atlas Tales. They had all 3 volumes reprinting Jungle Action from the 50s.
Okay.
Woo! You got some John Romita art. You got Joe Manili art. You got some John Buscema art. Russ Heath has some stuff in there. Beautiful, terrible stories.
That's funny.
And looks like Dark Horse is going to finish up their reprinting of Creepy and Eerie early next year. I'm glad they're finishing it up. The last batch of books are going to be rough because, boy, you could tell that they couldn't afford the good writers anymore.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm glad that they're going to finish it up. And then the last thing I am geeking on, when it first came out, I could not have afforded it. But now, because I can afford omnibuses, I do. They reprinted Tomb of Dracula, Omnibus Volume 1. Now, I have the second volume, which reprints the second half of the series, because it was a 70-issue series. But I had not read the first 20 or so issues in a long, long time. And the first few issues are pretty rough. But once Gene Colan gets on, he does some beautiful art, and then when Marv Wolfman takes over the stories, I mean, it's almost like it jumps up 2 levels when they start working together. And you've got the team of Marv Wolfman, Gene Colan, and Tom Palmer. And I think they started around like issue 5 or 6 and went to issue 70.
Oh, wow.
Which is an unprecedented run in the 70s.
Yeah.
In the 70s where people were leaving books, halfway through.
It's really unprecedented for almost now.
Yeah. But, man, that's good stuff. And they did a beautiful job of printing it. A lot of the stuff that I'm getting on omnibuses, it's cool to have. This one it reads so much better in this collected format than month by month. You could tell that Marv Wolfman was thinking months in advance when he would do things. And there was a reason this was the most acclaimed horror comic of the 70s. Just some beautiful stuff. I'll probably be talking more about it. I may even do a couple special episodes on it. But I am really geeking on this stuff. And you could tell that Gene Colan loved doing it because there are jobs Gene Colan did because you have to pay the rent. And there are jobs he did because he loved drawing it. Because it's Dracula, it perfectly uses Gene Colan's use of darkness and shadow, and the shadows are almost a character in and of themselves, with Tom Palmer understanding how to use those inky black shadows to make the comic feel creepier and more almost claustrophobic. So that when, because Dracula back then, he wore a suit and a tie and a cape.
Mm-hmm.
And, walking around in the 70s with that. But Gene Colan made it work.
Cool.
With Gene Colan drawing it, you don't once go, no.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Well, believe it or not, kids.
I don't.
You have listened to us blather on about funny books for an hour and a half.
Really?
And as we say every week, the comic we like the least, we still like better than the comic that you like the most. Dan?
Yes?
This is where you kind of give a closer to the show.
Oh. Make sure you tip your wait staff.
Oh, Lord. How many times you been on? How many damn times you been on the show?
How many times? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is my first, right?
Hit my music.
Yeah.